First oral question, the Honourable Mereseini Vuniwaqa to ask questions 68.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise this morning on question number 68 of 2015 under my name for the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources. What was the approved quantity of bauxite ore which Aurum Exploration Fiji Limited was allowed to extract, its total anticipated dollar value, and the progress of payments to landowners for this extraction? As in accordance with the agreement between the Aurum Exploration Fiji Limited, the land-owning Matangali, and the Fiji government.
Thank you. The Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources.
Madam Speaker, I rise to answer the question that has been asked. The first part of the question refers to an approved quantity and the amount that the company is allowed to extract. There might be some misunderstanding there, Madam Speaker. There is no quota on the amount of ore that can be extracted by that company or any mining company for that matter. Mining leases, when they are given, do not impose a quota, and I do not know of any other jurisdiction that imposes a quota on the extraction of ore. The total anticipated dollar value for the bauxite, I can say for certain that the cost per ton of bauxite extracted is on the dollar value of $80 per ton. The total anticipated value, there was a pre-mining estimate that was carried out prior to the start of mining. The Ministry and the company are currently working together to reach the amount as close as possible of the real amount of extraction of bauxite that was done. So at this date, there is no firm conclusion to that study. Once that study has been carried out properly, the company and government will be looking at tally records that was done throughout the extraction to determine this amount. It is only then that we can state for certain what the value was. The third part of the question, on the progress of payments to landowners for the extraction. For the Nawai Levu South mine, which is, the extraction has finished in that mine, and the mine is currently going through rehabilitation program. The premium and the rent payable to date for the surface lease has been paid. The access to the mining site and the campsite lease and premium have been paid. The quarry and stockpile site lease and premium have been paid. Fishing rights compensation for the jetty, that has been paid. Rock royalty to the Matangali Nalutu has been paid. For the Nawai Levu North mine, which is currently undergoing operations, premium and rent payable to date have been paid, and the excess lease, premium and rent payable to date have been paid. Payments yet to be accessed by the landowners would be the Future Generation Fund and royalties in relation to the extraction. There are certain issues in relation to the setting up of trust funds in the relevant Matangalis, relevant trustee issues, which we are currently working through with the trustees to sort that out before the Matangali will be able to access those funds. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary question, the Honourable Mereseini Vuniwaqa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is quite surprising that there is no provision for the allowable quota to extract minerals, as stated by the Minister this morning. But according to the Memorandum of Lease 18262 of 2011, that was, I'm coming there. The maximum volume of soil and rocks that's supposed to be shipped out of Fiji is 1 million tons. after a third-party confirmation from Customs, 1,287,843.7 tons was shipped out of Fiji. How did this happen? From the teleman in Noelebu, right to the custom at the wharf. I'm coming to that. Listen, I'm coming to that.
Can you come to the question?
Madam Speaker, given there is an obvious exceeding the agreed soil and rocks extracted from Noelebu, how can the Minister be sure that the same practice is not repeated in other places where mining will take place? This company is now moving to Nraketi. Madam Speaker?
Is that your
moving
question?
to Nraketi.
Is that the question?
And the state has been robbed, and even the landowners are robbed.
Point of order.
What measures are in place?
The question is precisely that, as you suggest. It's a supplementary question. We've already had 2 questions in a whole raft of statements being made. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask the Honourable Minister to respond to the first supplementary question?
I reiterate, Madam Speaker, the amounts that are in the lease are anticipated amounts. They're estimates that were made prior to the starting of the lease.
Thank you.
Just to rationalize the question, Madam Speaker, how can we tell how much ore is in the ground?
Please continue, Honourable Minister.
The lease was signed prior to the mining. An anticipated estimate is in that agreement. Government and the company, with the landowners who are part of the tally team, they're working together now to establish as closely as possible the exact amount that was extracted. Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary question, the Honourable Lana Malabo.
Supplementary question, Madam Speaker. I thank the Minister for a reply. And regarding part 2 and 3 of the question, and also of the explanation given by the Madam Minister, that the first mining site has already been done with, completed, and they're working on rehabilitation. But in view of part 2 and 3, Madam Speaker, the question, can the Minister explain as to the royalty payment that is supposed to be part of the total income that should accrue to the landowners? Because the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, they often boast about the Constitution, having this royalty issue inbuilt in the Constitution. But here we are, we've reached rehabilitation stage. No royalty has been paid. No royalty formula has been presented to this House.
Thank you, Honourable
Thank you,
Minister.
Madam.
I thank the Honourable Member for the question. Just to clarify, there are 3 royalties that are payable to landowners. One is the rock royalty, which I had said has already been paid. The second is soil royalty. Soil royalty, like the bauxite itself, there was an estimate prior to the start of mining. Yes, the mining has finished for the first mine, but I invite honourable members to visit. It's still being stockpiled. Most of it is still being stockpiled at the jetty area. There is, I'd already stated, the Ministry and the company, with the inclusion of the landowners in the tally team, are currently working together to establish as closely as possible the amount of bauxite, out of which that calculation will also throw out the amount of soil that's with the bauxite. Once that is determined, the soil royalty can then be calculated. Rock royalty and soil royalty, the rates that are payable to the landowners, they are included in the laws of Fiji. The Native Land Trust, Itoke Land Trust, gravel regulations. They set out already in the law how much those royalties will be per cubic meter. The third royalty is the ore royalty. This is the new inclusion in Section 30 of the Constitution. Under Section 30, government is now mandated to give a fair share of that royalty to landowners, and government will do that. At the moment, those royalties payable are being held in trust by the Mineral Resources Department. The landowners will be consulted together with all Fijians. Public consultations will be carried out before we reach a formula on what a fair share is. Section 30 already sets out specific factors that need to be taken into account when calculating fair share. Again, Section 30 mandates that a written law be written in relation to what a fair share is. Until that is done, only then can distribution of this royalty can be done by the Ministry.
Thank you. And now I'll give the floor to the Honourable Ruben Nandala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can the Honourable Minister explain if all these royalties have been paid to landowners? If not, why not? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I believe I've just answered that question.
Thank you. And the last supplementary question, I invite the Honourable Asir Randronro to have the floor.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask the supplementary question. According to the Memorandum of Agreement, the payment of land royalty is supposed to be paid in advance from the date it started. It's surprising to note that the fair share of royalty is yet to be paid. According to the... Well, they're still looking for a formula.
Could I have your question, please?
The question that I'd like to... The question that I'd like to ask is when will this fair share be paid out to the landowners, especially when the agreement says that it has to be paid without demand. Without demand for a period of 2 years from the commencement of the mining start date. And also, whether the government or your ministry has done any exercise.
You are limited just as one question.
That's the question is, when is the payment going to be done?
I'll ask the Honourable Minister to respond to that question.
Madam Speaker, I am starting to feel that there's an invisible soundproof wall right here. Because I've just explained the reasons why the royalties have yet to be paid. It's being held in trust by government until Section 30 factors are taken into account.
Please continue, Honourable Minister.
I invite the members, Madam Speaker, to please read Section 30 of the Constitution and what the mandate is.